Indonesia, the fourth largest country on Earth, spread over nearly 18,000 islands. A Garden Eden with the greatest biodiversity on the planet. Indonesia is located on the Ring of Fire, a tectonic plate boundary where active volcanoes are lined up like a chain. The ash makes the land fertile. The volcanoes furthermore emit different types of gases, which may tell us how volcanoes work. Scientists of the Italian Institute of Applied Optics in Florence and the University of Manchester are traveling to Java. In their luggage they carry fit-for-purpose, state-of-the-art scientific instruments. Using an aircraft, gas emissions of 18 volcanoes of Java will be measured for the first time.
Io sento che noi abbiamo pagato un sacco di soldi, adesso c'è bisogno di un po' di aiuto. Sai che vuol dire che se ci sono problemi risolvo loro. Il problema è che non so chi troveremo domenica mattina lì.
The scientists are on their way to the hotel in the 28 million metropolis Jakarta. Jakarta, once home to the Dutch East India Company, has undergone dramatic reshaping in the last decades. Big buildings have been raised and are still being built everywhere. Dr. Burton and Dr. Cherudi have been here already 2 months ago, wrestling with the Indonesian authorities to get permissions.
Immigrant song from
Led Zeppelin.
Very good.
Because you were screaming.
Well, it was because we were in Immigrazi all the time. So it was
always there.
And every time we had a little step forward, there was a series of little milestones which were significant for us making progress. So,
I like the song.
it's a great song. That guy's voice, Robert Plant, amazing voice. Fly from Surabaya straight to Jakarta.
Back a little. Yeah.
Which one do you prefer?
Our 5-star hotel. Unfortunately, we may only enjoy it for a short time. In a few hours, the scientists will be traveling to Pandangaran in the south of Java. Suzy Air is flying us to Cilacap. Suzy Air is the same local airline the scientists engaged to perform the measurement flights on the volcanoes. We are passing old, dormant volcanoes as well as active volcanoes, such as Slamet. Slamet will be one of the first volcanoes to be probed. Intensive rainfall has flooded the country, which one can see very well from up here. After an hour of flight, we are landing in Cilacap.
Bello.
A bus of Suzy Air brings us from Cilacap to Pandangaran. Due to a vast swamp area, it needs about 2 hours for the 20 kilometers. The state of the road is not really making the ride a pleasureful one either. Our driver receives a call and suddenly turns, until he realizes that it is us he was supposed to pick up, and we continue our ride towards Pandangaran.
Accident?
No, water.
Water, flooding.
And there we are, right within the flooded area that we have seen from the airplane just before. The scientists will soon meet their pilot. It is a bush pilot who normally flies members of different tribes in Papua and Borneo. Papua is a very mountainous area covered with dense forests, with few opportunities to land an aircraft. Flying over volcanoes should therefore be easy for the pilot. We arrive at the home base of Suzy Air in Pandangaran.
Guarda il ragnetto. Hai visto?
Huh?
One of the instruments, called the CO2 LiDAR, has been seriously damaged during the flight to Indonesia. Dr. Kweiser attempts to make it work again. Meanwhile, Dr. Cherugi is preparing the spectrometer that will measure CO2, hydrogen chloride and sulfur dioxide. The aircraft being maintained at the moment will be our airplane, a Swiss Pilatus Porter.
Se conecta ahorita se sale combustible, ¿no?
While the scientists are preparing their instruments, Saint, the chief engineer of Suzy Air, helps them to prepare the airplane for the measurement flights.
Okay, no problem.
It has been a tough day. The scientists arrive at the Suzy Air hotel. The next morning at 7 a.m. we take the Suzy Air bus to the hangar. There is still a lot to do before the airplane is ready to hit the volcanoes. 11 a.m. While the scientists are testing their instruments, singing voices appear. Like a human swarm of bees. People doing their prayer at the nearby mosque. The same again at 5 p.m. The people here seem to enjoy singing and like it loud. It will soon be dark. Here, 365 days a year, the sun sets around 5:30. Dr. Kweiser has brought the CO2 LiDAR back to life. There's a chance again to remotely measure CO2 from the volcanoes. The instrument is now ready to be installed in the aircraft. How it will perform is however completely unclear, as it has never been tested before in such an environment. Like at the tailor shop, the instruments are tried on.
Okay. We need another part. Okay, I found it. We cannot block in the exit.
So, now
Tomorrow the test flights are planned. Until then, everything has to be finished. Saint and his crew spent a few extra hours to make the airplane ready. The plane is almost ready for the test flights. Saint takes us to the hotel in his car.
In the night, the wind is quiet, but it's raining.
The next morning, Wilson the pilot pushes the aircraft on the airfield. The first tests at the ground with the aircraft engine on revealed the first problem. The onboard electrical system heavily interferes with the CO2 LiDAR. Dr. Kreiser suffers from fever, which hampers troubleshooting. Despite this, a little test flight is performed. For a constant laser backscattering of the ground, the Pilatus follows the beach.
Can I go a little bit further left?
To make matters worse, mechanical vibrations of the telescope compromise the performance of the CO2 LiDAR. The following morning, the first measurement flight over volcanoes begins. The CO2 LiDAR with its laser and telescope is able to measure the CO2 amount in up to 3 kilometers distance. The two other instruments on board, on the other hand, measure gases near the airplane, so for them to measure, the Pilatus has to fly closely to the volcanoes. It is evening. Wilson recommended us a beach bar and the means to go there quickly, with a rishka. The second stage of the measurement flights has begun. It is 5 AM and I am following the scientists in their plane by car. As common here in Indonesia, we hired a car with driver. Given the driving here, this is essential for survival. It is 5:30 when we cross the river Semeru. Dr. Kreiser's fever is slowly getting better. While we are driving across Java, Dr. Burton and the others are probing the volcanoes of central Java with the airplane, such as Summit, which is 3,400 meters in altitude and erupted 2009 for the last time. The Pilatus is passing Mount Sumbing. The crater is 800 meters in diameter. In its center, there is a lava dome. It is 10 a.m. Time to grab a bite to eat. We are in a typical restaurant around here, with a self-service buffet. My stomach is a bit sensitive now and I better keep my fingers off the fish in the red sauce. It was in the 10th century when Arabic tradesmen came to Hindu Java. The Indonesians, mostly the kings, were impressed by the Arabs' discipline and efficiency and became Muslim. However, in Java, particularly here in Central and Eastern Java, Islam is mixed with Hindu and Buddhist elements. We are passing Prambaran and the ruins of the largest Hindu temple of Indonesia. Unfortunately, there is zero time for touristic excursions.
So I have to make a movie. It's a shame. What's the name? Prambaran.
Prambanan.
Okay.
Prambanan Temple.
The scientists in the airplane are now at Sundoro volcano. Unfortunately, Mount Merapi is too cloudy to be approached. Around noon, we too are passing the mighty Merapi, one of the most dangerous volcanoes on Earth. Its summit is indeed completely hidden in the clouds. We keep following the other scientists who by now should have reached the city of Solo in central Java. And there we are, the hotel in Surakarta, also called Solo.
Hey, friend?
I can see the pilot over there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Okay. It's nice.
Dr. Kreiser tries to meet up with the airplane crew, which however is not so easy as the hotel has two
It's a very
receptions.
huge garden here. And I'm just making my way through it and I will be there in 1 minute, I think. I already had lunch.
The receptions are connected by a beautiful labyrinth of a garden, through which Dr. Kreiser is moving now on the search for Dr. Burton and Dr. Cherugi from the airplane. Furthermore, Dr. Kreiser's luggage was brought to the wrong room, and the receptionists do not recognize his name. About 3 hours later, and with a lot of patience, will Dr. Kreiser receive his room keys. The hotel here in Solo will be his working place for the next 4 days. Tropical gardens, water place, fishes, pool, gym, massage, and even a sauna are at the guest's disposal. Dr. Quasar is on his way to the airport of Solo. One of the instruments, the CO2 lidar, is causing problems again. He wants to dismount it and take it back to the hotel and try everything so that it can operate in one of the next flights.
So I need the receipt. Oh, yeah.
The next day the crew continues flying towards the volcanoes of East Java without the CO2 lidar, investigating gases with the two remaining instruments on board. They are passing the twin volcanoes Arjuno and Welirang. Both are about 3,200 meters high. The last eruption of the cone-shaped stratovolcano took place in 1952. Meanwhile, Dr. Quasar is working full steam on the CO2 lidar. For testing, he's measuring the CO2 in the ambient air. A car battery bought on the way to Solo will hopefully solve the problem with the electrical system. It is looking good. Everything is working well. Typical for the tropics, it rains every afternoon. Heat and moisture accumulated during the day is released in sometimes violent thunderstorms. Dr. Quasar needs to look for spare parts, which here in Indonesia means he has to improvise. I'm joining him. Srabi Ayu, a typical sweet for this region. Rice, egg white and jackfruit.
Okay.
One forms a roll and enjoys. To refresh, there's coconut water.
Hola.
In the meantime, the others are flying over the volcanoes of East Java. The Pilatus is following the crater rim of 3,300 meter high Raung, one of the most active volcanoes of Java, and is measuring its gas emissions. At the horizon, one can see the volcanoes Ieng, Semeru and Arjuno. crew is passing perhaps the most spectacular volcanoes of Java, measuring CO2, hydrogen chloride, SO2 and other volcanic gases. The Bromo area, a vast caldera hosting 5 volcanoes out of which 4 are still active. In the background is Semeru volcano, the highest mountain of Java with 3,700 meters of height. In the lower left corner, the Hindu temple Poten, located at the foot of Bromo volcano. The volcanoes are surrounded by a huge sand area. The Pilatus is on its way back to Solo to pick up the CO2 lidar. Dr. Quaiser is on his way to the airport with the instrument. For the crew, it is just a pit stop. The scientists are testing the CO2 lidar in the plane and it is working splendidly.
You want to move it now? Last try.
Definitely not, don't say the word last.
Last flight.
The crew will fly back to Pandangaran to pick up the rest of the equipment.
Ciao, ciao.
On its way, the Pilatus will pass volcanoes again. Last chance for the CO2 lidar to measure volcanic CO2 degassing. It is 6 AM when Dr. Quaiser receives a phone call, learning that while the instrument was measuring the ambient CO2 of the air, due to communication problems with the laser of the CO2 lidar, it could not measure volcanoes that morning. The flight measurement campaign is finished. The field campaign, however, not yet. A ground-based measurement is still planned. For that purpose, Dr. Quaiser is visiting one of the markets in Solo to find a parasol. I'm joining him. The market is called Pasar Clever. It is the largest market for textiles in Java. It is quite early and the market awakes. There are hints about the old Javanese culture everywhere here. An altar, scripts in the ancient Javanese alphabet now replaced by Latin letters, and animal sculptures. Are they related to Hinduism? It is getting busy on the Pasarkleber. Dr. Kweiser is on his way to a huge antique market called Pasar Triwindu, again in Rishka. Meanwhile, the scientists are approaching Pangandaran and the home base of Suzy Air. Wilson demonstrates how he usually lands. Compared with the airstrips on Papua, this must feel like Frankfurt Airport. The scientists feel released to have left behind those exhausting 22 hours of flight in the Pilatus Porter. They return to Solo. In their luggage are the scientific instruments.
Good.
The last part of our journey across Java is reserved for a measurement on a mud volcano, also called sediment volcano. To that end, we are meeting with 2 geologists of the University of Yogyakarta and 3 of their students, and drive together towards Purwodadi, located in the north of central Java, where the mud volcano is located too. For the scientists, this drive is a first opportunity to relax a bit, having the feeling to have achieved a big step, the measurement flights.
We should have a lie-down dance, all 3 of us doing exactly the same move.
It's useful for the scan to have the right velocity.
The measurement campaign has required a lot of improvisation and flexibility, mostly as far as logistics and the best measurement strategy were concerned. Now it's time to talk about the next steps.
Then I'll start caring. And we'll go there. If it starts looking good, I'm going to get excited. But I'm not going to get excited unless we see something promising. And also, these names, they're always so complicated. Jesus.
It was a temple.
Apparently there's some imagery of Europa which shows that there's a plume of something coming out. The most likely candidate is some sort of pressure build-up getting through the icy crust and out as it's. So they're talking about having a flyby flying through the plume, and it just makes me smile.
It is remarkable that some school kids are on the motorcycle while others take the bicycle.
So some kids take the bicycle, some take the motorcycle.
Start at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
It's time for a little break. In a little mosque we are allowed to use the bathroom.
Oh. Okay. It belongs to whom?
It's private.
It's a private mosque.
Yes.
The people here seem to not only all live along the roads, they appear to also do all kinds of work here, such as drying cereals.
Mike, huh?
Yeah, the one you said.
Let's go.
It's gone, then, you know, you went to leave.
The scientist's time is very limited, and so we drive directly to the mud volcano. In the meantime, they are briefing each other.
Was it insured? Be careful, what looks like solid ground might be a thin crust over mud, which could go up to your waist or deeper. So you keep to the paths, don't go wandering off.
Try to.
You understand that, right?
Yeah, we don't have a rope. No?
I'm not kidding, man.
No.
I'm not kidding. And point number one. Point number two, don't trust the ground.
Okay.
Trust the crust. Let the students walk in front of you.
Yeah, good idea. But they're much lighter than me.
Make them jump. Make them jump up and down.
What is so special about these mud volcanoes? Gas, water vapor, CO2, methane. Meter-thick gas bubbles emerge from the ground and explode, expelling mud up to 9 meters. Leduk Kuvu is the name of this mud volcano.
Measuring the wind speed also?
Leduk means rolling thunder, which is what it sounds like when the gas bubbles explode. Legend has it that a gigantic snake lives here, just beneath the ground. No one knows exactly how much gas Indonesian mud volcanoes emit. One only speculates about where the gases are coming from. Could it be that there is a connection to the volcanic chain 70 kilometers away and the CO2 originates from there? These measurements shall help to disclose the secret. Dr. Kaiser has set up the CO2 lidar and starts the measurements. The scientists had to save space and weight, and so could not bring a special rotation mount for scanning. Using bits and pieces, Dr. Kaiser has improvised a rotation mount. It is noon and the heat is unbearable. Time for some refreshment.
Thank you very much.
And a little bit of publicity work.
Sampai sana. Beres. Kakak apa? Gonku. Rapor doang.
The measurements were successful, but the scientists want to return tomorrow early in the morning to collect more data.
Oh my god.
What's this?
Dinner in Purwodadi, about 20 kilometers away from Leduk Kuvu mud volcano.
It's for documentation.
But you know,
The next morning, it is about 6 AM and we are having a quick breakfast. It is raining. Should the rain get too dense, the laser of the CO2 lidar cannot penetrate it anymore. The scientists therefore are hurrying up.
Shit, I was sitting on my coffee now.
There are many cats here and they are very tame. Maybe a bit too much.
I'm sorry.
Around 8:30 the scientists are done with the measurements. It went very well, in spite of the rain. Now they are cheerfully driving back to Solo, straight to the airport.
He's just got no shoes.
The road is shaking us one last time. The measurement campaign and our journey across Java end here. The scientists have probed 18 volcanoes and the mud volcano. The data will help not only to improve our understanding of the volcanoes of Indonesia and their CO2 output, but moreover learn more about their role in the global carbon cycle. Many more volcanoes are waiting to be explored in this enormous island kingdom of Indonesia.
Maybe you can put your laptop here.
Yeah. Which is, and then the battery is empty and we cannot start anymore. Okay. Really nice. Yeah.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anitoli and I'm your cabin service director. On behalf of Qatar Airways, the One World Alliance, Captain Walid, and our team of cabin crew, it is my pleasure to welcome you all may enroll during the flight. This aircraft is equipped with all smart in-flight intelligence